One of my favourite new tools is this bench grinder that I picked up from Machinery House in one of their recent sales. The reason why I like this so much is it makes everything so much easier. One of the hardest things as a new woodworker is to appreciate how sharp tools make not only everything safer but so much easier and get a lot better quality of cutting. This is really exemplified by wood turning, where if you've got a dull tool, not only is it incredibly dangerous, you'll just spend hours doing what should be a very simple task. Now, I'm not really going to talk about the grinder too much today. It's an Abbott & Ashby, it's a cheapie, it's Australian owned, I don't think it's made in Australia anymore. That's relatively unimportant. What is important is this woodcut true grind sharpening system. It's a two-part system. First is the arm in which you place the chisel. Second is the slide to get the correct angle. I need to sharpen this spindle roughing gouge. It's getting a little dull, so I'll show you how I go about doing that. But this will sharpen all lathe chisels, so parting tools, scrapers, bowl gouges, spindle gouges, skews. It does have problems with the wider one-hand parting tools, which tend to be quite wide although very thin, and it has a little bit of an issue with captive ring tools, but they're specialist tools which don't get dull nearly as quickly, so it probably doesn't matter as much. Not sure you can see this on the video, but I've written 2 on the ferrule for my chisel, which corresponds with the 2 on the true grind jig. This means I can set the same grind every time that I turn this on and sharpen the chisel so that I'm not wasting material. Similarly, I've got a stop block there. The manufacturer recommends setting it 2 inches or 50mm in from the edge of the board so that you can get consistent positioning. With that tightened, the next step is to adjust this arm so that it matches the bevel on the grinding whip, which is about right there. So I'm going to sharpen my small skew, just like before, 50mm or 2 inches of blade is protruding. This setting is not to a particular number, but so that the tip of the chisel runs flat across the wheel, and then again the same adjustment in the lower leg so that it matches the bevel, the pre-existing bevel. So there you go, a very sharp skew. It's got a slight camber across the lip, which I actually find advantageous for the turnings that we've been doing with this size chisel. If you leave it nice and still on the grinder rather than that rocking motion, it will be a lot flatter. It's quite a small camber, so it's nice in that it gets the tip and the foot of the skew out of the way so they don't catch. Yeah, there's not a lot more to the true grind system. It is very simple but works very well. Retails for about $160, and that's these 2 components, a booklet on how you grind each type of chisel, and an incredibly useless DVD that is more advertising than anything instructional. It's a shame that True Grind are what seems like stuck in the 80s. Their marketing and advertising is awful. So if you starting to get into woodworking and wood turning in particular, I'd recommend getting a grinder with aluminium oxide wheels. They run cooler. Next video, I'm hoping to make a jig for grinding plain irons and chisels and the like, and we'll use the one grinder for all of that.